Hello, learners. Welcome to Power BI interview questions series. This is the part one of this series, and we are going to cover the top interview questions here. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and let's get to it. So let's understand the difference between Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. Power BI Desktop is a Windows application. It's a downloadable application. Its primary use is connecting to the data, doing the data transformation, data modeling, and report development. The users of Power BI are typically developers who develop the reports, and you can get features like Power Query, Editor, DAX, data modeling relationship, and it's free of cost. Power BI Service is a cloud-based application. Its primary use is for report sharing and collaborating with other users. The end users here are the consumers of the report or the business users. And you get features like row level security and scheduled data refresh. And Power BI service is a paid service when it comes to collaborating with others. So these are the key difference between Power BI desktop and Power BI service. You can remove duplicates from the data in Power Query. So this is a sample table. Here we can see there are 4 records and record 2 and 3 are duplicates. So to remove duplicates, you can simply click on this table icon here and click on remove duplicates. This is how we can remove duplicates. Append and merge are two methods to combine tables or queries in Power Query. Append is used when you want to do row-wise combining of the data. For example, here we have two tables having the same structure and we need to combine the rows. So here we will use append. While in merge, we can combine the data based on same columns. So this is kind of a join. So here we have one table where we have employee ID, name, and designation. And in another table, we have the department of each employee ID. Now, if we need to bring department columns into the first table, we can use merge. Merge requires a common column with which the relationship can be created. So the output of merge would be a combined table having new columns. Let's understand the difference between DAX calculated columns and DAX measures across various aspects. By definition, with DAX column, you create a new column in a table and the calculation is performed by row, whereas measure stores a formula in the data model and it is evaluated when the DAX query is executed when you visualize the data. Evaluation context. So as we said, DAX columns work in the row context. That means each calculation works on each row separately, whereas measures works in the filter context. So the results that you see of measures would differ based on the different slicers and filters and other fields used in the visuals. Columns are stored physically in the model. That means it increases the file size. Whereas measures are not stored physically, they are just calculations and they do not increase the model size. Performance wise, with more columns, your performance may reduce because it increases the memory, whereas measures are more efficient and it is recommended whenever we need to perform any aggregation based calculations. Use cases, whenever you need to do any evaluation which works on row over row, then you use column. Whenever we require any aggregations which needs to be applied on the entire column, then we use measures. So these are few differences between DAX columns and measures. Dashboards and reports are quite different in Power BI. A dashboard is collection of visualizations that can be pinned from multiple data sets, whereas a report is a detailed analysis that can be created for multiple pages and it is mainly used for interactive visualizations. A dashboard can only have one single page, whereas a report can have multiple pages. A dashboard can combine can create visuals from multiple data sets, whereas report has to have one single data set. Dashboards provide almost no interactivity. If you click on any visual on the dashboard, it will take you to the report from which it was pinned, whereas reports are designed to make highly interactive analysis. It supports all kinds of interactions like filters, slicers, drill through, and cross filtering. Purpose of dashboard is usually to create a very high level view of your data, whereas reports are created for more in-depth exploration. An example of dashboard could be a CEO's view or an executive view where you can show very high level data coming from multiple reports. Whereas reports could be a more detailed analysis with multiple pages to drill down into more details with interactivity. So that is the key difference between this dashboard and report. Let's understand security with this example. We have region wise manager data and how much they have achieved from the targets and what is their performance bonus amounts based on these targets. Now, this report contains all the bonus payouts for all the managers. But let's say we don't want other managers to view data for the other managers. So in those cases where we want to restrict users to only see the data that belongs to them, we can apply row level security. To apply row level security, we need to first add roles in the data model. To add roles, you can go to the modeling view and under security, you can go to manage roles. I can add a new role. Let's say this role name is East region. And for this, we can add a filter criteria that the manager name is equal to Ishan. Okay. Now we have created a role for this user named Ishan. And to test whether the role is working, you can go to view as, and you can view as the East region role. And we can see now we can see only the filtered result over here. So we need to create the roles from here. Then the next step is you need to publish this report on Power BI service and you need to assign this role to the users. Once the report is published on Power BI service with the roles added, you can go to options and security. And here you can see all the roles that you have created. Now all you need to do is add emails, user emails who belong to these roles and save it. This way, whenever the user who logs in with this email, they will only see the data belonging to the roles. And that's how you can implement row level security. Table relationship cardinality can be of three types: one to many or many to one, and many to many. Cardinality means how unique the values are in the column with which you make relationship between two tables. To give you an example, this is an example of one-to-one cardinality. Here, we can see that in both the tables, there is one row per employee ID. So the relationship would be one to one. Whereas if you look at this example, we have department ID and a department name table, and we have an employee ID, employee name, and the department they belong to. Now, multiple employee can belong to one department. So the department ID in the second table can have multiple rows. So here, the relationship would be many, one to many, which means one row from the first table relates with multiple row in the second table. Whereas many to many relationship means that many row of one table relates with many row of the second table. Here you can see that employee names are occurring multiple times in both the tables. So this kind of relationship would be many to many. Let us understand the use of inactive relationship with this example. Here we have two tables, orders and date table. In orders table, we have order date as well as ship date. Now, for most of your calculations, you would want to make relationship with date table using the order date column. But let's say you also need to do some calculation with the relationship with the ship date. Now, for only few calculations, if you need it, you can make inactive relationship with ship date. And if we need to do any kind of regular calculation, for example, here, if we need to calculate sales by order date, we can simply use the active relationship. In active relationship, you don't need to specify anything explicitly in your formula. Simply, you can take sum of sales from the orders table. But whenever you need to use inactive relationship, you can change your calculation like this. You can put a calculate function and you can apply sum of sales from the orders table. But here you will specify that you need to use the inactive relationship through this function called use relationship. So you specify use relationship and you specify with which two columns you need to use the relationship between the two tables. That's how you can use inactive relationship as and when you need in the calculation. This is an important question and many people struggle to answer this. Sum is an aggregation function, but sumx is an iterator function. Sum is used when you want to sum values from a single column. Sumx is used when you want to evaluate any expression at the row context and then do the summation of it. To explain this, let's use this example. We have this simple table, product wise, quantity sold, and the unit price of the product. If for my objective one, if I need to just find total quantity sold, my result requirement is that I just need to sum all these quantities. So 10 plus 20 plus 15, that is 45. If I need to calculate this, I can simply use a sum function like this. Total quantity is equal to sum of quantity. But if my objective is to calculate what is the sales from this table, to calculate sales, I need to first do multiplication between quantity and the unit price, and that needs to be evaluated for each row. So I need a row level output for each row, and whatever output that I get, that I need to aggregate. And this is the exact thing that we can get from sumx. So sumx requires you to specify the table that you are using, and then you need to specify the formula that needs to be evaluated for each row. It automatically evaluates the formula for each row and then does the sum of it. Import mode and direct query mode are two types of data connectivities present in Power BI. With import mode, you store the data in Power BI file. So the data is stored in memory. Whereas direct query, you do not store the data in memory. You are making the queries live. In terms of performance, import mode is very fast because the data is natively stored. Direct query is slower and it depends on the source and the amount of query you are generating with each visual. In terms of data refresh, import mode requires you to refresh the data. You can do it based on uh, on-demand refresh, or you can do it based on the scheduled data refresh. But direct query does not require a scheduled or on-demand refresh. It keeps on refreshing the data. In terms of data size, import mode is best used mode for smaller data size. But with direct query, you can go with bigger data size because you are not natively storing the data. In terms of modeling features, Import mode has all the DAX, all the data transformation features, but direct query has limitations. Some functions, some transformations are not supported in direct query. Even some data sources are not supported in direct query, while import mode supports all type of data source connectors. In terms of usage, whenever we need to do more detailed analysis, drill down where you need to do a lot of interaction, you should go for import mode. But wherever you want to just view a predefined visual and you want to have a more real-time reporting, then you go for direct query.